Not one of us who is righteous. We are all like sheep and have gone astray. Each one does his own thing. It does not matter what the law says. We do what we want to do. It is like the human heart. Even here in Manipur, the government will say one thing, but the people will do another thing. And the insurgents, they will do another thing. Everyone does what is right in his own eyes. People are selfish. People are mean. This is called sin. And there is no remedy for sin in ourselves. But God has a plan. God had a plan from the very beginning. God knew that man would sin. God knew that man would believe a lie. God knew the serpent would come and deceive the people. And so God had a plan. He chose to send himself to earth to die for man. And while they were still in the garden, he made a promise. There would come a child. There would come a child. A son of the woman. And he would crush the head of Satan with his heel. And year went by, year went by, year went by. And mankind waited for this one who would crush the head of Satan. God appeared to different men at different times throughout history. And God repeated his promise again and again. He made his promise to different people at different times. And he said, there is coming a day when I will judge righteously against sin. I will return. And I will make the world like it was in the beginning. I will take away sin. I will take away sin. I will take away sickness. I will take away disease. And I will reign upon the earth again. God has a plan. God has always had a plan. He said, I will go to earth and I will become a man. And I will walk among them. And I will live my life perfectly. And then I will offer myself. I will give myself as a sacrifice for the ones that I love. The name of this man was Jesus of Nazareth. God came to the earth and became flesh. And the name of this man was Jesus of Nazareth. I don't know what you have heard about this man, but the story of this man is in this book. And this book is true. This is the truth about Jesus. It is the truth about God. Now tonight I want to tell a simple story. It's a very short story. We can find it in the Gospel of Mark. And it is found in the chapter 15.
Mark is chapter 15 for the
Now in Mark chapter 15, Jesus was walking along the road with his disciples. Now you have to understand that Jesus walked and lived in a country called Israel. It is far from here. It's still in Asia, but it's on the very western edge of Asia. Jesus was not a European. Jesus is an Asian. He was born in Asia, and he lived his life in Asia. He lived in the country of Israel, and he spoke to people called Jews or Israelis. The Israeli people are very special people, because many centuries before, God had appeared to a man named Abraham. And he promised that he would have a seed that would rule over the nations of the earth. That he would have a king. That would be one of his children. And so Abraham waited for this king. But he never saw him. And through the centuries, the Jewish people waited for their Messiah king. And then one day, the hope was fulfilled. One day an angel came from heaven and spoke to a young woman, a woman named Mary. And he said, Mary, God is going to come upon you, and you will conceive a child within your womb. And that child that is within you shall be called the Son of God. The promise was fulfilled. The day of waiting had come to an end. The seed that would crush the head of Satan was born. His name was Jesus of Nazareth. And so I want to read one of the stories of his life. Jesus was walking through the countryside. And he came to two cities of people who were not Jews. He left the city, the nation of Israel, and he began to walk among those who were not Jews. Some people think he wanted to rest. A rest. Because everywhere he went, there were multitudes all around him. And so some people think that Jesus was going someplace that nobody knew about him.
Adana missing the Kang le me Jesus say missing the Udaba Jaga the Kalaga Chatli had the mission of Kane.
Let me read this story.
And then Hari Bawari say Patok.
It's found in Matthew chapter 15.
You said Mark?
Matthew 15. Sorry. Matthew chapter 15.
Matthew 15.
Beginning in verse 21.
21 lagi.
Maybe you can read this story all the way down to verse 28.
Matthew 15:21 lagi
28.
Matung aduda Jisuna mafam adudagi lengtonglaktuna tur amasung Sidon gi lamda thaidokre amasung yengu lamdam adudagi Kanania nupi amalaktuna haijere Dayut ki machani pa he Prabhu aibu nungsibiu aigi chanupa aigi chanupi bu bud amana yamna wana otpire Toigum sung ibungo na mangonda wa amatu kumlamde amasung ibungo gi sebok singna laktuna mabu thadok pi kro maramdi